In the last few days, Elon Musk has been giving money away by the bucket load to try to influence a state Supreme Court election. And even while he's doing that, we've been getting clear signs that his time squatting over the US government is coming to an end. Just yesterday, Monday, March the 31st, President Trump said that Musk would have to finish his Doge work to pay attention to his businesses.
Well, I think he's amazing, but I also think he's got a big company to run. And so at some point he's going to be going back. He wants to.
You just want to keep him around.
I'd keep him as long as I could keep him. He's a very talented guy.
Trump also told reporters that the influence of Doge, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, would be a lasting one because, he said, cabinet members and agency heads have, quote, gotten a big education from its work. Whether it was a lesson in what to do or a lesson in what not to do was not made clear by the president. Separately, Musk himself seemed to be readying the stage for his departure from Doge. Under the initial plan, his work was scheduled to finish by the end of May, while a number of White House officials told the website Politico that basically he would stay as long as he wanted. Musk told Fox News,
"Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame."
So in that time frame, 130
Yes.
days.
This is, shall we say, a bold claim. Various people who have crawled through the detail of the supposed savings that Doge has published on its website have reported numerous examples of overclaiming, a number of items where no savings were achieved at all, and others have pointed to where Doge interference has led to more waste or spending. It was always considered that saving more than a couple of $100 billion would be impossible without at least cutting defence and or Medicaid and Medicare, items which were said to be off the table. But it's not a surprise that the claim would be made. Trump is probably ready not to have Musk hanging around all the time, at least that's what some of the reports suggest, but to be able to keep the positive relationship with the man who donates hundreds of millions of dollars while waving him gratefully into the sunset. Probably seems like a pretty good deal. So you can predict that the work of Doge will be announced to have been a terrific success. $1 trillion of waste and fraud cut, which can't be evidenced by any sort of auditing standards, but nevertheless will be claimed regardless, and the true believers will accept it as gospel truth. The ones in the middle will absorb the implication that quite a lot was saved, even if they suspect the 1 trillion figure is a bit overblown. I mean, it is a suspiciously round number after all. And then hopefully the Trump administration is able to move on and people around the country will start slowly to forget the various people in their communities who arbitrarily lost their jobs that one time and the various cuts that were made that seemed counterintuitive at best. And I'm sure the plan then, in Elon's mind, is that he puts more time into his businesses. Certainly Tesla, which has been faring badly precisely as a result of his political activism as well as his absence from the company. But also that he continues to play at this political role that he's come to enjoy so much. I can't think he's going to give that up. So plenty more fact challenge posts on Twitter attacking Democrats and every government in the world that attracts his attention, particularly in Europe, of course, and plenty more money being thrown around because that is the real heart of his influence on the politics of the country. But even as he is contemplating that as his future, it's an open question whether or not Musk's money won't become the poison chalice you have to think twice about accepting. Because the very day of shooting this video is the day that Wisconsin will be voting for a new Supreme Court judge. Normally, these are supposed to be non-party political elections, although the US courts have been politicised to some degree for decades, but it has become a particular point of contention. because as the Trump administration has moved ahead at great speed, flooding the zone with potentially illegal executive orders and various other actions, so they have pretty naturally come up against a number of courts blocking them doing the things that they want to do. And I mean, as we've said before, that's kind of a consequence of pushing the boundaries in all directions all at once. Yes, you might win quite a few of the resulting cases, but you're going to lose some, maybe a lot, and it will feel like a lot because you chose to do all the things at once. Well, obviously it does feel like a lot. But rather than a rational philosophical approach to win some, lose some, the Trump admin, and Elon Musk in particular, have decided it's predominantly because of left-wing radical judges and it's all political blocking. As Chief Justice Roberts said recently, the way to deal with setbacks in the courts is to use the appeals process to, focus on the points of law at the centre of the decision. But the autocrat playbook, as we've covered a couple of days ago on this channel, is to seek to get loyal functionaries into all of these positions as far as possible, so the decisions go your way as a point of politics. And so Elon Musk has poured $22 million into the election of a MAGA-friendly judge, Brad Schimmel, to challenge the sitting Liberal judge, Susan Crawford, in Wisconsin. In response, Democrat donors have given in higher numbers as well, although Musk's candidate has an edge of $10 million at the point of the election. That has led to that context to be by far the most expensive election for such a position to date, and it has, of course, given a harder political edge to what is normally, shall we say, a politics-light process. The thing is, it's the fact of Musk's activity that has rather taken centre stage. After all, Musk has been highly visible all over Twitter like a rash, obviously, but also attracting attention by giving people money to sign a petition, giving a couple of those people randomly a huge $1 million cheque. That would be called corruption in countries like the UK, but so long as you're not paying people to actually vote, it seems it is legal, even if somewhat distasteful in the US. However, a lot of people are now reacting against this. The idea that one apparently unhinged billionaire can influence every election by just throwing vast amounts of money into them. And if you add to that basic principle the fact that Musk's apparent incompetence with the hugely disruptive Doge project has made his approval ratings in the US sink out of sight, you have the angle that Democrats have been trying to utilize for maximum effect. So they've been framing the contest as the people versus Elon Musk, and they've made the contest a referendum on Musk's influence and activities. Because Trump remains relatively popular in comparison, although they're obviously hoping that will change as the expected economic chaos of big tariffs, for instance, get felt across the country. But Musk is today loathed by Democrats with a visceral anger, disliked by many Republicans, whilst tolerated by others because of Trump's endorsement of him. So he is seen as the weak link. And now it almost doesn't matter which way the Wisconsin election goes, which is likely to be known to at least some of you by the time you're watching this video. The election had previously seemed to be a relatively safe win for Susan Crawford. Before Musk got involved, she was polling 13 points ahead of Schimmel. Since Musk got involved, that lead has moved to within the margin of polling error. If Musk flooding the zone with money successfully turns the contest around, well, it will highlight exactly the growing concern that many people have about how a billionaire can buy results, apparently at will in the United States, which could add to the momentum of feeling already building against him. On the other hand, if he throws all that money in and it still isn't enough to turn the results, then you kind of get the same message, just that it was already strong enough to deny him that outcome. The point is this: if the concept of the people versus Elon Musk is going to be revived successfully for every campaign that receives his funding in the future. It could be that Elon's money becomes more of a liability than an asset. And if his money stops being so attractive, then his influence disappears pretty much overnight. Sure, he can still do unhinged tweeting, spreading conspiracy theories, making other statements that bear only tangential relations to reality. And of course, because he owns the platform, yes, he can stick those posts right in your face, as he does. It's kind of the point though, isn't it? Anyone who's not a MAGA loyalist is already getting kind of fed up of having Elon Musk in their face every day. So that leaves him to get on with his businesses, and that will be a hard enough challenge, I would suggest. He has pretty much unequivocally killed the Tesla brand. I mean, he had a fantastic product that was tailor-made for the liberals that he has now turned into enemies. Trump can claim that he's bought a Tesla. Ted Cruz can endorse them. They can do that all they like. But the MAGA crowd, since they've been told by Trump that climate change is a scam, they're still not going to pay the money for even Musk's electric vehicles. Now, he still has SpaceX, of course, for now. SpaceX mostly deals with government contracts, doing work for NASA, going to Mars, maybe. Safe work for now. You have to wonder how safe it remains should the political winds change and a Democrat administration is then back in charge. Well, all the more reason for Elon to throw hundreds of millions of dollars into political races, you might think. Except, as we've just identified, that at the very least that's a game with diminishing returns. So Elon Musk is going to be hit hard by all of these consequences very soon. He will no longer be at the centre of attention, which is what he craves, except to be vilified for nakedly and publicly seeking to buy political results beyond a level that people will tolerate. And his ability to do all the visionary things he laid out for his businesses has been savagely set back by his polluted personal brand, meaning that maybe those businesses will seek a future without him being associated with them at all. Once he has become nothing but a political liability, it will be most painful for him when he learns that there is no longer a return invitation for him to come back into the centre of the White House maelstrom again. Politics is a savage business, and actions have consequences as you simply will never see in most of the fields, especially when you play it hardball like he does. Are you one of the people who can't wait to see those consequences hitting Elon Musk? Or are you one of those who still feels his influence has been positive, albeit underappreciated? Let me know in the comments below.